kind of dull. Do you see that? Hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the new year. It's actually not the new year when I'm filming this. It's actually the 28th when I'm filming this, but it's gonna be posted in the new year. So I have my full 2023 reading wrap up for you, and I'm so excited to share it with you. For the year of 2023, I went to read 35 books. I was in school. I was in my last year of school, so you know, I was doing a lot of schoolwork and stuff, but I still got it done because I read 37 books, like literally on the cusp. I read 37 books out of 35, so that's amazing. I read about one book every single month besides February. I didn't read a single book. I don't know what happened in February. My statistics, which could be inaccurate statistics, yeah, Miss Latin. Anyways, my statistics could be inaccurate because I feel like sometimes the reading tracker I forget to like update the page number. Sometimes it has like way too many pages, and then sometimes it's like way too little pages. So yeah, but I have read about 15,878 pages this year. I keep my book tracking on like this very handy Notion. I'll like scroll down for it. I'm gonna go in order of how like what I read, and I'll tell you like the month I read it in. It's gonna be like a normal reading wrap up, but instead I'm just gonna say like the month I read it in. First, I started this year out with a bang. Literally, I read this book. I picked it up because I was in the airport and I just like needed a book to read, and this book changed my life, and it was Magnolia Parks. This book absolutely changed my life. I love no one more than Magnolia Parks. Like this series right here, Just Hastings, what you did, amazing. I annotated a little bit for my friend. I'm gonna go back and refinish annotating because I don't annotate like this anymore. But this book took me by storm. I did not know the emotions I was gonna feel. I made my friends read this book. Like, I was for real about this. I think about this book every day. Like, every day. 5 stars across the board. Like I said, I didn't read a single book in February somehow. I literally cannot even tell you what happened to me in February. I don't know why I didn't read a book in February. I did start one of these books in February, and I guess I didn't finish it until March. But Final Offer by Laura Nasher. This book is the final book in the Dreamland Billionaire series, and when I tell you this was my favorite one, Cal is my favorite brother. He's just so amazing at what he goes through in this book. And there's also a kid in here, and the kid does not suck. Most kids are annoying in books. Kid does not suck. Oh, my rating for it, I literally do not even remember. Oh, I gave it a 4.5. Next book, By a Thread by Lucy Score. Oh my god, when I read this, I was head over heels for it. I was excited to read it, and then I sat and thought about it for a little bit, and I realized this book was fine. I rated it a 3.5. Lucy Score, stop writing about old people. I don't care about 30 to 40-year-old people. I know they're not old, but it's old to me, you know? I don't want to hear about them falling in love, you know? I don't care. Anyways, I rated this a 3.5 despite all my qualms about the old people. This book was cute. At first, Dom was like, he was a terrible person. It's workplace kind of, but like he's her boss, so I guess it's like boss romance. But it's also enemies to lovers because she hates him because like he's like a rich jerk, and he is terrible at first. Like at first, he was so rude to her, and I was like, dude, like calm down. Like, why are you always so angry? You know, sometimes enemies to lovers are so funny because sometimes the guy will be like the worst person ever, and one day he'll just like switch. But like with Dom, he was like, it was like a gradual switch, you know? And I liked that, even though he was still like, at first he was like literally terrible, and I was like, how am I gonna get on board with him liking her when he seems like the worst person ever? The things he did for her were so sweet. This book was cute, and that's really it. Even though I said I didn't read any books in February, like I said, I don't know what was happening to me in February. I don't know why I didn't read any books. Somehow I managed to read 4 books in April when I was literally studying for my AP exams. I don't know how that happened. First book I read in April. Icebreaker. I read this book literally at 4.5. I'm normally a slow burn kind of gal. But they got together so quickly, and everything was so cute. I'm gonna say cute so many times, but the things like there was no fight. This was the best communication I've ever. I know everyone says that, but like this was literally the best communication I've ever read in a book. Like this book like really was made for me. Like it was made for me. I loved it. Next book I read. I did read this one for my AP exam, but I enjoyed it. And that was Frankenstein. I've never really read like a classic. Only classics that I read were Pride and Prejudice, and a little bit of Little Women, which I remember absolutely nothing about. But anyways, Frankenstein by Mary Shelley was so good. Also, reading this book literally made me feel so smart. Like, I love when I can say Frankenstein was the scientist and not the monster, because the monster was monster and Frankenstein, you know, it was Frankenstein's monster. You know, I feel so smart when I get to tell people that. Even though literally no one was asking for my opinion on this critically acclaimed book, I absolutely loved it, but I'm qualified to give you like a full insight on this book because I'm not like the smartest girl in the world. I gave Iceberg 4.5 stars. Like I feel like I'm not even qualified to rate this book, but I did rate it a 4.5. But I feel like I said, I'm not even qualified to rate it, but I did rate it a 4.5. And reading this made me pass my AP exam. I wrote about it in my AP exam and I passed. So seeing, I'm very seeing. This book was so heart-wrenching and gut-wrenching, and oh my god, it's critically acclaimed. So who am I to give you my opinion on this book? But I did rate it a 5 stars. Jasmine Ward, the woman you are, because the way I was able to actually relate to every single character, crazy. It's really short. It's really easy to get through. I know not everyone will read this book because this book is really tough. I want you to be so surprised and like so just like when you read this book. I've been reading about like every single book, and I was having a good streak. I think I rated no book lower than like 3 stars. I was having a good streak until I read this stupid book. It falls on my least favorite trope. Knowing someone for a day and falling in love with them. Leaving your husband for someone that you don't even know. That you knew for 7 hours. He, I don't remember which one it was. I don't know if it was him or her, but they took a picture in a photo booth and he'd been carrying it around for 6 years. I hate stuff like this. I'm sorry. I hate books like this. I don't understand. I feel like stuff like this doesn't happen besides like in Sex and the City. I rated it 2 stars if I didn't say. Now on to what I read in May. May was my birthday month, and also it was my graduation and my prom, so I didn't do anything. May was a busy month for me, you know, and so I only read like 2 books in May. But one of them was King of Bottle and Blood. I do not know where this book is. I literally scounded my room for it. Cannot find it anywhere. I know I had the copy. I know it was on Kindle Unlimited, and I knew I read it on my Kindle, but I had the physical copy of this book. I don't know what happened to it. But King of Bottle and Blood. I rated this a 3.5 on my book tracker, but I don't remember a single thing about this book. I know there's a second one. I just know like this girl, she's forced to marry the vampire king, and also he's blonde and whatever. And there's like a war at the end of the book. That's all I really remember. And a few people die. That's all I remember about the book. I don't even know how I gave this 3.5, you know? It was a vampire romance, but he was a vampire and she was not. Sorry, I'm giving you a bad description. I don't even have the book with me and I don't remember anything about it. Next and last book I read in May was The Happy Book by Madison Beer. I'm not a person to rate a memoir because who am I? But if I were to, it's like 5 stars. People are like, how can you write a memoir? And she's like, what, 25 years old or something like that? But as someone who loves Madison Beer's music, this is a really good book. It talks about like what she went through, like as like, if honestly, I'm talking this as if you know who Madison Beer is. If you don't know who Madison Beer is, she was a girl who like was on YouTube and then Justin Bieber like found her cover and like reposted or something like that. If you know anything about anyone Justin Bieber has ever dated, you know that believers hate women, so they just tear her to shreds for her entire life. And honestly, it's still happening now. This book was so good, and like I said, maybe I'm biased because I love her music, but I thought it was amazing. I thought the writing was gonna be bad, but if you've ever listened to like Madison Beer talk, or if you've ever seen like an interview, it's written just like that. Now since we've done May, we're on to summertime, and this one is also a star. This was a reread for me. I read this book like I read this book when I was like a child, and like I said, I talked about this in another video, but this book still holds up. Like it is so good. You're gonna love this book. Don't watch the movie, but you're gonna love this book. Next we have Stinger by Mia Sheridan. First of all, I don't remember anything about this. I don't remember anything about this book. I know that it's like good girl bad boy trope, but they're like adults. I rated it 2 stars, and I know I've rated 2 of Mia Sheridan's books 2 stars, so maybe they're just not for me. Next we get into July. I'm gonna honestly speed around this because, not to be annoying, but this was the one reading wrap up I posted on my channel, so I'm not gonna be annoying and like reiterate the same things I said already. First I read Jake's poetry book and I thought it was hilarious. Next I read Daisy Hates. Oh my god. Daisy. I rate this 4.5 because I hate Christian. I talked about that in my last book. I mean last video I think, but I hate Christian. I rate this a 4.5. I feel like if there was another love interest in the book, which there kind of is, I feel like I'd like it more, but I hate Christian. And also something happens at the end of this book with the brother. What's his name? Is it Romeo? Julian. Something happens at the end of this book with Julian that I cannot get over, and I feel like I'm the only person who ever talks about it. I cannot get over it. But the book was so good. The quotes, Jesse Itzin just knows how to write a quote. Next book I read was Call It What You Want. I forgot the author's name. I feel really bad, but I'll write it in my notes, whatever. But anyways, Call It What You Want. I rated this a 3 stars because it's really jarring to read after Daisy Hates because it's basically the same thing as kind of like Magnolia Park. It's like a long situationship, and the writing was meh. It's my first book, so like that's fine. I understand. You know, that's really all I'm gonna talk about. Next is You Can Trust Me by Kirsten Moglen. This book, crazy. I literally was this is so funny. I was really thinking about it. I was really thinking about this book the other day. It's a mystery thriller. I rated 3.5 by Kirsten Magdalene. Same name, so like we already knew the book was gonna be good. Us Kirstens are talented. This book was so fast-paced. It was so, Kirsten knows how to write. Like, it was so fast-paced. The ending was so telenovela-y. Like, I guessed the ending, but like it was so telenovela-y that I was like, I guessed it. But that's because I was joking, but like it really did happen. Next is Red, White, and Royal Blue. I think I talked about how I was scared for the movie or how I was excited for the movie. I literally cannot remember. Honestly, it was honestly a really good movie adaptation. Love, 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 love. I literally rated it a 4.5. Darling Venom. Ask me what I remember about this book. I don't remember anything about this book. All I remember is that people were depressed. That gynecologist visit. Oh my god. But I remember people were so depressed in this book. I rated 3.5. She was so depressed. Next book is The Deal. I literally don't remember anything about this book either. It was stupid, okay? That's all I gotta say. And it was also made, but that's my fault, because it was made in like 2014. So, what did I expect it to be any different? I don't know. Brutal Prince. I give this book a 4.75 stars, and I think I still mean it to this day. I still mean it to this day. So if you like what you did in this book, amazing. The pool scene. I thought it was funny. I feel like most of the time, once you like read a series, like the first one isn't your favorite. Like I feel like that with the Dreaming of Billionaire series. Like how the first one like isn't that good, but then the rest of them are good. With this one, this is still my favorite one. Last book I read was Don't Go Down There by Kirsten Magdalene. Again, like I said, Kirsten Magdalene knows how to write because her name's Kirsten. Like, did we expect anything less from her? Anyways, I give this one also 3.5 stars. The plot twist was absolutely crazy. Like, sorry if there's an angle change. I got tired. I had to take a break. So now we're into August, which August was just a really, really good month for me because I read all of Avatar in a week. I read this on my vacation. Like, I was dedicated. Series, as you can see, I didn't read the blue one. I thought it was stupid to read the blue one. I didn't have to read the blue one. I didn't feel like Sarah J Maas, I'll get into you later. But what you did here was something special. I had the first Avatar for literally a year, for like almost a year, until I finally picked it up, and I hated it until the third act. That third act action scene, crazy, absolutely crazy. Like the action, everything, the drama that was happening. I gave it 3.75. I know I sound like Tom Cruise right now, but it was so action packed. Like it was insane. Then A Court of Mist and Fury. This is not my favorite. I think this is everyone's. Is this one everyone's favorite? I give this one a 4 stars. As you can see, they're gonna go up. This one, second book. This is where I started hating Feyre. I'm sorry if you like Feyre. I cannot stand her. Like, oh my god. At the start of this, I did not dislike her that much, but like this is when I started disliking her. I can't say anything about spoiling. Then there's this one, more Feyre hate, because this is when I actually realized that I disliked her so much. I was so tired of being in her point of view. Like I was so over it. I was so over it. Like I said, this is one of my favorites. I give this one a 4.5. But like it's literally called Aqua War. This is like the war. Like, you know, I guess I don't want to spoil it, but like it's called Aqua War. War happens, and it's crazy. Like more action, just amazing. And Feyre sucks. And then thank god we're at a Feyre's point of view. I have A Court of Silver Flames, which is my absolute favorite one. 5 stars. 5 stars off the get-go. Like this one I like Aqua War, I rated a 4.5, then I just changed it to 5 stars. But this one was just a 5 stars, just out the woodworks. First of all, this is what I want to talk about Sarah J Maas. Girl, close the laptop. Why was there so much smut in here? Like I skipped it all because why? Backspace, close it, delete all them scenes, we can regroup and start typing again. I love Nesta so much. Like, I'm so sorry. I know you guys didn't like her, but I love Nesta so much. Like, she was so, like, I'm sorry, but like this book, like she was so, like I saw myself in Nesta. Like I cannot see myself in Feyre. She's annoying. I can relate to her, even though I'm not what she is, even though I'm not in a fantasy world, even though I'm not an alcoholic. I can still just relate to her. And Cassian, and also Reese. He's sick. And this made me actually dislike him. Feyre, you got little points in me. You're still annoying. But what Reese did, downright wrong, downright dirty. I'm sorry. Reese, you're a bad guy. He's not a feminist. I only read 2 books in September, and we can talk about that in a second. But first, I'm going to talk about the first book I read in September, which is called 1 Week in Paradise. Even 4 stars. Looking back, it's definitely 3.5 because I haven't thought about it since. But it was just so cute. Like, so it's fake dating, but they're on vacation. I don't even know why I'm opening my notes in this next book because I know exactly what I have to say. I read Magnolia Park's Long Way Home, and in my notes I put pain. It's really funny to look at my notes like back because all my thoughts are like written like in real time, like right after I finish the book. I went to bed thinking about this and I woke up thinking about it, and that still happens. Still, I'll literally be driving and I'll be like, Magdalene PJ, I love this book so much. It's my favorite one in the Magnolia Park series. I gave it a 5 stars, of course. My heart is heavy even thinking about this book. Like, I'm broken. I'm so broken. I will forever be broken. Don't know how I'm gonna stitch me up. I'm still in pain. Like, I thinking about it makes me literally want to cry. I guess it's just dark outside now. I have to bring out my light. This is like really cozy. I like it. Anyway, the last book I talked about was Magnolia Parks, and that was the last book I had read in September because Magnolia Parks put me in such a deep slump. Then we got to October. I read Collide by Bao Cabra. Literally, as you can see, it literally looks just like Icebreaker, and because it's just like Icebreaker, and I loved Icebreaker, so I love this book. I give it a 4 stars. It's a hockey romance. Anyways, he was so sweet. Like, he fell for her so hard, like actually so hard, to where it was so cute. Next, I read a book that literally everyone was talking about, but I read it so late because as you can see, this is my November wrap up. I read Fourth Wing super late, so I knew the next one was coming out in November, so I was like, gotta read Fourth Wing. One, I would like to say, I do not agree with the author's views on anything. With that being said, Fourth Wing was fine. I rated it a 3.5 because this book did not exceed my expectations. It wasn't like amazing. I think it's because I read it so late, so like the hype died down, and like in my head it was so died down. But I really don't like her writing. Very juvenile. It feels like a YA fantasy, and then but there's so many smut scenes, you know, so do with that what you will. I thought it was fine. I wasn't like completely obsessed with it, but you know, teach their own. If you like it, you like it, and I'm not judging. Next, I read City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. This is a reread for me. I remember reading this like back in like middle school, but anyways, I'm only continuing because spoiler for City of Bones, I know they're not siblings. I know there's so many books in this series, but I'm probably only gonna read the first 3. But like, if I really enjoy it, I'm gonna stick to it. I really like it, you know. I rated this 3.75 because of the sibling thing, literally. But I know the next one, I think it's the next one, I literally remember liking that one so much. The next one, I remember liking that one a lot, and the third one, I remember liking the third one a lot. Lastly, I read The Inheritance Games, and what did I want to say about this book? Oh yeah, I don't remember anything about this book. I don't remember anything about it. I gave it a 3.5. But I don't remember anything about this book. I remember liking it at the time, but like now back, I can't tell you something about this. Next, we're getting into November, which for me was last month. So I did a reread, and I read Famous in Love by Rebecca Searle. Now, you might know Rebecca Searle from like In 5 Years or like One Italian Summer, but I know Rebecca Searle from writing Famous in Love. I want to make a whole video about this, so I'm going to talk a little bit lightly on it. It's just amazing. It's a love triangle. It gets heavier in the second, there's a second book, but there's a love triangle in this book, and it gets deeper in the second book, because like right now you're in that stage of like love triangle. Since there's 2 books, you're like in the stage of love triangle where it's just like only one person is like important. I know something happens in the second books, so like rereading this and like watching it all happen, I'm like I read this is a chunky book. I read Iron Flame. I think I read this in like 2 days. I also did not like this book. I gave this a 3 stars. I gave this one a 3 stars. I was excited to read it because I thought that like she was gonna see like the hype on her last book and she was gonna try with this one. She didn't. Wrong sentences. I don't know, like the publishing people were just like, oh yeah, your first book did so good, let's just like not even proofread it, because this book was not proofread by anybody, because if it was, they would totally rewrite it and release it in like May. Nonsense. Despite that, I didn't hate it, but I just didn't like it that much. Like I said, it still had that juvenile feel to it, but with the smut scenes, like I don't understand. I don't understand. I really don't. I feel like everything was thrown together for shock value, especially the last part. That last part was thrown together for shock value. Okay, and the last book I read was, well, the last book in November I read was Stolen Air. Cannot get on board with Stolen Air. I did not like this one. As you guys saw, I raved about Brutal Prince. Cannot get on board with this one because he kidnapped her, and I cannot watch a girl fall in love with their kidnapper because he kidnapped her. Every single scene I was reading, I was like, yeah, you're only like, this is Stockholm syndrome. Like, I was like, I can't get on board with this. But also, he was blonde. How dare you kidnap women and have the nerve to be blonde as a grown man? Anyways, in December I had an advent calendar and there was 8 books and I only opened 5. One of them I'm still currently reading, and one of them I already read, and then the 4 that I'm going to talk about just now. But before I had the advent calendar, I got the advent calendar December 2nd, but on December 1st I read all of Assassin's Blade by Sarah J Maas, and when I tell you, I liked it. People say it's good to read this one because it's good to read this one because you already know Selena, and I'm excited. This is just 3 novellas that take place before Throne of Glass, so just yeah. In my book I'm like, here are the books I read in my book advent calendar. Also, I think I'm done for the year. I will tell you like what the book I'm currently reading, but I think I'm done for the year. The first book I have is Find Me 13 by Chloe Walsh. This book was so heavy. The ending really got me, so I cannot wait to read Keeping 13. Is that the next one? I can't wait to read Keeping 13 because the ending was crazy. I want to read Gibbsy's book. Why would I care about her brother? Next is Savage Lover by Sophie Luck. Now, I read this 2 stars because bully romance. Bully romance. Also, the girl, she was a nobody. Like, I thought she was gonna be like a mafia person. She was a nobody. Like, she was some random girl. Sophie Luck, you really are missing me with her last 2 books. Like I said, Buddha Prince is still up there. Now, last book. I this one in my advent calendar and I laughed. Like, I laughed. Like, I'll play the clip right now. I'm so giddy. Okay, I'm pretty sure bet's in. I'm gonna lock my answer now. That's Lauren Asher book. And like I said, I guess the last one was Savage Lover, so I'm gonna lock it in. This one is Lauren Asher. And it's not. I don't want this book. I have never read or owned a Colleen Hoover book, and I thoroughly pride myself on that. Verity by Colleen Hoover. How did I feel about this book? Nothing. I feel nothing towards this book. Would I rate it? I didn't even rate it. I still have a rating for it. I'll give it like a 3 stars. I never read a Colleen Hoover book before this, and I will never read a Colleen Hoover book after this. I don't like her writing style. Anyways, I heard this was one of the more interesting and more better Colleen Hoover books. I feel like it's one thing to write a lot of smut scenes, and then it's one thing to write a lot of smut scenes, and then to be also a bad writer, because you're not grasping me in any way. Anyways, that's how I feel about this book. My final book in 2023, which I wish was a different book. Not because I hated it, but because I just wish it was a different book. One Day in December by Josie Silk. This book was cute, I guess. It falls in my least favorite trope, the soulmate trope. She sees this guy, doesn't interact with him, they just lock eyes, and she goes, that's my soulmate. And then like a year later, she sees that that's her best friend's boyfriend. Excuse me, I feel like this is just a really good winter book. It doesn't really have to do with Christmas, and it takes you over the course of like 10 years. 10 years. I thought it was fine. Like I said, I hate that trope. The trope that like that's my soulmate, even though I never talked to them or I've talked to them for a little bit. I hate that trope so much, unless it is Sounds Also Star, because they spent a whole day together. How could you? In my head right now I'm thinking like a 3 stars, you know. I would recommend it, that's all I'm saying. Yeah, anyways, that is my final book of 2023. It's not 3 days to finish it, so I will, so maybe I will, but if I do finish it, I will edit in that I finished it at the end. Tireless by Roland Roberts. I'm reading it right now. I'm like 2 chapters in. I'm liking it so far. I met Kai, like him so far. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. I'm really gonna try to make 2024 my year of YouTube and reading. I'm still thinking about what I want my new reading goal to be. I want to stop buying as many books. Even though I don't have like an astounding number of books on my TBR, I still want to like get through most of my TBR. I just want to make sure. I'm also going to try to track my books on Goodreads finally, because I wanted to do a Goodreads wrap. I want to finish a bunch of series next year. I want to finish Throne of Glass. I want to start Crescent City. So yeah, anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. I'm so happy when I was filming this, no fireworks popped, because they've been popping fireworks since literally Christmas Eve. Anyways, that's really it. Bye. Bye.